The short story isn't told in a really linear fashion. It kind of bounces around as far as when we find out information in the short story. You can kind of do that in a short film, but it can get a little confusing with a really brief amount of time. 11 pages to read is really different than 11 minutes watching a film. And I've had a pretty good challenge and a lot of obstacles to overcome in figuring out what I think is the best way to give the audience information and still maintain the suspense that the story generates. The writing role kind of came up because Sheridan offered it to me. She had contacted me over the summer and mentioned that she'd had a contract with Stephen King for a short, and having worked with her before, she kind of knew my skill sets with writing, and she said it was a good opportunity to try to expand upon it if I wanted to, and obviously I jumped at the opportunity. As far as the directing role, I had tried to make a movie a year ago on an original script, and it was successful in some ways, and in other ways it wasn't so successful. And I learned a lot from that whole ordeal and that whole experience. And I really felt like I could tackle a shorter script again with more time and have like a much better finished product and be happy with it. So I decided to go after it. As far as directing goes, the primary obstacles that I haven't really faced too many yet, but with the casting call, just trying to find what I'm looking for, allowing my vision to have some leeway to incorporate like other people's ideas, different actors, different looks, that kind of thing. So that's been the challenges. You know. As far as like, I usually write in a very typical prose fashion, so writing in a screenplay is different, and I've never adapted anything before. So a lot of this is just touch and go and reading it out loud, getting a feel for what I think works in my head as far as the vision goes, and what I think sounds well. The film is coming along really well. I've been really impressed with everybody in the class so far. Everybody's really put in a lot of work, and I think having an entire year to work on a film allows us a chance to really make something pretty special. Not only learn a lot, but make a really nice final product that everyone can be proud of. As of right now, I think we're on pace to do that. It's tight in certain areas because certain things are difficult, like finding locations, coordinating actor and student schedules is a really difficult thing to do. And that's all part of the process, it's part of the experience of like learning how to handle multiple things at the same time. And that's what the filmmaking process is. It's usually juggling multiple things and dealing them with the most efficient manner. And I think a lot of kids too are learning how to think on their feet when we're in situations with the actors and that kind of thing. So it's been a lot of fun. I mean, having more time takes off so much more pressure. Sounds like an obvious thing, but one of the things I learned really quick when I started getting into the filmmaking aspect is how much of a process it actually is, and underestimating time, your time management, and how much work it takes to get a film done is a huge, huge error, and it'll ruin a project quicker than anything else. So having the extra time has made this gives the project a lot of hope and a lot of gives us a really good shot to make something special. So I hope all the good stuff that's happened this semester as far as pre-production and preparing to take off for the next semester, I hope it translates over, and I think it will, because we'll have so much time.
I think the progress we're making is spectacular, better than I thought. Just this coming week, it seems like we've been on track and getting everything we need done on time, and I think we're just about ready to go for filming in spring. I actually had several roles every now and then. I was in charge of props, and I was also Ryan's casting assistant during the casting call, and recently I just I just got a start on the wardrobe, everything about the wardrobing for the actors and actresses. I'm a very imaginative person, and I try to be as creative as possible with my decision making. And I mean, so far in college, like that, that college has really challenged that skill further for me. And I'm a huge fan of film, and like I hoped one day, like when I was younger, it was like I could actually work in a film production, and I finally got a chance taking this class, and took advantage of my creativity to help out any way I can. I didn't really encounter any difficulties for the props and the wardrobing, besides just a few ambiguous decisions. Next to that is the casting call. When I was Ryan's assistant, it was actually somewhat of a challenge because I had to instruct people, and it gave me a chance to actually try to be in charge of important material, and it was a challenge, and I thought it was good for me. I'd say this class was quite an adventure. I mean, everyone is so kind and so helpful, and it's been a pleasure working with everyone, and I'll never forget an experience like this.
I like the Stephen King story. I thought it was very interesting, and it kept me engaged, and I thought it was a nice, you could say, challenge, seeing as how I don't usually work with stories that involve people. I usually use stories that involve animals and mythical creatures, but I'm really enjoying this. It's fun, and I get to meet a lot of fun people. I am in charge of the storyboarding and soon to be the animatic. I have past experience with storyboarding, and I very much so enjoy it, and I would actually love to not have an entire career in it, but to maybe work in that area. To create a storyboard, first you have to familiarize yourself with the actual story, and once you do that, if you're already kind of an artist, then it's actually surprisingly, it's kind of easy to come up with what was supposed to happen, like visualize what was there. I just drew it in a way that I thought would be very clear, especially for Ryan, since he's the one looking at it, and he kind of needs to know what's going on, and people looking at it need to know what's happening. It wasn't a particular style, I just wanted to communicate what the script was saying. You just take it one step at a time. You go scene by scene, and you really think about what is in the scene, what's it supposed to look like, what kind of emotion do you want it to bring out? Like, is it a very dark scene? Is it depressing? Is it happy? You want to show that in the characters' expressions. You want to show that in the background, the lighting. It depends on how detailed you want the storyboard to be. It could be very general, just to tell you where you're setting up the camera at what angle, and it could also like have everything in it down to like every fine detail. It was hard to visualize where everything's supposed to take place. I mean, you know where everything's supposed to take place, but you can't really picture which angle it's at, what's the right way to do it, what's awkward and what's smooth.